All right, guys. Today was a pretty active day trading, so let's get into it because I've got a few trades I wanted to review. We're starting off with Apple. So this is my first trade of the day. Starting off on a daily chart, you can see Apple had a bullish finish on Friday. This green candle here is super bullish, and we had buying pressure coming in because you can see that the selling pressure was starting to alleviate on the 27th. We had buying pressure, or we had that selling to start alleviating on the 28th, and then we had that good green candle come in that day with a close above the 21 EMA. So starting off on Monday, this was kind of an A plus setup for me for it to continue higher since the market sentiment was pretty strong coming in, and Apple was above the 21 and it was a leading stock. So this is what the daily chart looked like. This is kind of what led me to trade Apple off the 5-minute chart. So if we go into the 5-minute setup, you can see Apple was squeezing. So this was another plus for me. This stock was squeezing right before open. The purple line is a key 4-hour level, so I didn't want to enter the trade until it closed above that 4-hour line. So I entered about right here at 7:35 at 171-ish, right when it had closed above the 4-hour line. And then my stop or my take profit level was around 172, which represented this black line. Now, if we go back here to the left, this black line was essentially the pre-market high. So you can see here is a pre-market high. So that's why I put the black line in there, because I wanted to see if price action was going to actually move through that 172 line. Now, I got out of the trade here right around 172 for a 7% gain. I probably would have stayed in, but I was actually taking my daughter to school, so I didn't want to risk, trading while I was driving. So I ended up getting out for a nice 7% gain. Plus, we had just started breaking out, and I wanted to sell in the strength on that. So that was my first trade of the day. A plus setup there. So now let's switch over to Microsoft. It's my second play of the day here. Looking at the daily chart, sort of the same setup as Apple. We had a strong candle coming in on the 28th. It was still below that 21 EMA, but then we opened right below it. So I was expecting a push up just because you can see that selling pressure was starting to subside. So I figured we'd have a good push above that 21 if the market was strong, which it was first thing in the morning. So now let's go to the 5-minute chart for Microsoft. So the black line here was a key support level for Microsoft, a pre-level support level. And then the black line up top here was a pre-market high. You can see here off to the left. Plus, just like Apple, that stock was squeezing coming into the day. So I ended up catching Microsoft. You can see price action at the beginning was a bit funky until it started to break out here around 7:50 or so, where I actually entered about 8 o'clock. So I entered right when it had closed right above this pre-market high here. You can see here we had a bit of a kind of a shooting star candle here. So for me, that kind of meant that was probably the bottom, and it may start heading up. So I entered around 801. This was a super quick trade. This was a scalp, which I usually don't scalp, but the market was going up, and I figured I had at least a little room to get something out of the trade here. So this is essentially like a 1-minute trade because I had caught it as it was breaking out, caught it here, and literally I sold it, I think at like 312.31. So 7 cents from the high. And then you can see here we had a nice reversal inside bar, and then it started reversing back down. So that was for a quick 4.5, 5% gain. on that trade. Since this was a scalp, I mean, I bought pretty much um, right outside the money. So I think the call was around 440 or so. So I had a 5% gain on that. So quick play there. And then let's go to the SPY. SPY was my next trade. I won't go to the daily chart on this, just because this was a midday trade for me. So you can see SPY definitely was pushing up. It had broke through that 444 level, which was a key level, and the next level for me for the SPY was a 447. I think the next level after this is gonna be 450. But anyways, I came in kind of late morning, had seen that the SPY was squeezing. I do like to trade squeezes, so that's kind of an A plus setup for me. The only thing is, I kind of screwed up on this trade. This is where I had a loss at. This is my only loss in the day. Was, you can see here, we were squeezing right at that 440, 444 level. It would have been great to catch it here, right around 9:30 as it was starting to squeeze. But technically, I don't like catching squeezes as I start seeing that buying pressure diminish. I like to catch them as I see the buying pressure start to increase here. So I ended up getting in. Actually, I missed all this. I didn't actually see the trade until this last squeeze here, and I actually got in right at the top, right as because it was breaking out. So I was like, okay, if I get in here, I think we might have a move up to 447, and that's where I was going to exit. So I literally got in right here at the top. You can see here, we got to the top, started getting some resistance. And I think this was a 150-day level, but I don't trade that 150-day moving average. So this one kind of caught me a bit by surprise. So I got in here. My exit was going to be a close below the 5 because I figured, hey, if it's strong, it's going to stay above that 5 MA at the worst, right, and start moving up since it was already above the top Bollinger Band. So came here, and then once it closed below there, I got out, and I took a small position on this just because I came in and towards the end of the morning, and it was kind of a quicker trade for me. I shouldn't have traded it, but hey, lessons learned here. Got in, and so I got in at 446.70 and got out around 446.05 for a small loss. I think it was like a 20% loss, but like I said, I took a very small position on there, so it didn't. It was a paper cut loss here. But you can see, it based right there at that 446 level, and then it pushed back up towards the end of the day, and you can see here, we hit that 450 right before the end of the day. So all in all, it would have been a great trade if I would have just stayed in there. But hey, you got to stick with your rules, and especially if you're growing a tight account, you want to have tight stops. So I ended up taking a small loss on that trade. Now, last but not least, let's take a look at Mr. Netflix. Netflix, this is Netflix daily chart. So you can see here, Netflix has been getting beat up, right? It squeezed, and then it broke out of that squeeze, hella selling pressure coming in, then a gap down, right? So, I mean, it been getting beat up like crazy. So now, a lot of buying pressure is coming in. We got the yellow bar today, and it's a strong bullish candle. One of the strongest candles you can see. Essentially, you had a little dip down at the very beginning, and then literally buyers just took over all day, pushed up through this weekly level here, and a super strong candle at the end of the day. I think I entered this trade at like 1:57 my time, so right before the close, because I could see that the candle that was being created was a very bullish candle. So then if we go to the 5-minute for Mr. Netflix, I entered like right here at 427. You can see we're up about $3 from the entry. So hopefully we have a push come first thing Tuesday morning. But I'm looking for a gap fill. We've got a large gap from that 414 level all the way up to 506. But I'm looking for that continuation kind of gap fill play for Netflix for tomorrow morning. So we'll see how things play out, and we'll kind of go from there. With that being said, hopefully you guys traded good. You know, hopefully you one took A+ setups and two mitigated risk, and you live to trade another day. So I will talk with you guys tomorrow.